Hey, what's up guys? It's Austin. We've got a pretty cool video for you today. It's going to be about a Macintosh emulator solution called OpenEmu. It's actually really good. Compared to the last video we did, it's fantastic, to say the least. So I want to talk about it a little bit, give you kind of my pros and cons, and after that we'll wrap it up and talk about some of the stuff we have coming at you pretty soon. Alright guys, I'm going to preface this segment with a little bit of background on me and Chris. I am a pretty much 100% Windows guy. Chris is more Macintosh loyal. But for this segment it's going to be a little bit backwards and probably more so in the future because we're both trying to broaden our horizons a little bit and reach out and do some things that are outside of our regular wheelhouse so we can improve on our skills as technology people and just, give you guys a learning experience and also get a little bit of a learning experience ourselves. So now that that spiel's out of the way, I'm going to show you guys this OpenEmu that we were talking about. So where you need to go is openemu.org. Once you're there, there's a download link right as soon as you get there, so it's as simple as it can be. You want to download the experimental package. That's what we got, and that's mainly just because we want to be able to run PSP games, and if you don't do the experimental package, you can't. So you just click download. Once it's done downloading, you install it just like you would any other application on a Macintosh. It'll download as a disk image, and you drag it into your applications. So once you have that installed, this is what it'll look like when it launches. If you check here on the left-hand side of the screen, it has a list of all of the consoles that it does right out of the box. You don't really have to do anything special. You download a ROM, and like it says, drag and drop your game, and you're ready to play. We're using a PS4 controller, and believe it or not, this thing will automatically map your controls to this PS4 controller right out the gate. There's nothing really special you have to do. So I'm going to go ahead and demo some of this stuff. We'll go ahead and start with the PSP because we talked about it at the beginning. It's experimental, but we've found a couple games that will run pretty good on it. We will start with Ridge Racer, which is here. I can remember we were going to continue our last game. It's no big deal. Sorry, that was a little bit loud. But I can remember playing this game right when the PSP came out. My dad bought me the PSP probably the week it was launched, and this game really brings back some memories and some of the feels. So I'll give you guys a little demo of what it looks like, and then we'll jump out of it. I'm just picking straight through so you can see what the gameplay looks like. And I've actually been playing this a pretty fair amount, and it runs great.
3, 2, 1, go! Looks like you got a good start.
I mean, honestly, it runs just as good as I remember it running on the PSP, but now I can play it on as big a screen as I can afford. So, but like I said, I'm not gonna really, play a whole bunch. I just want you guys to get an idea of what it looks like and how it plays. So we're gonna go ahead and stop that. And some of these other games, they don't run as well. Like I said at the beginning, it's experimental. So just know that going in, you have to do a little bit of trial and error to see what's gonna run good for you. Depends on what you're running. I know that Macintosh is different in that aspect from Windows. There's not a whole lot of different hardware variations, but if you're running this on a Mac Pro compared to running it on a MacBook Air, it's going to run differently. So just remember that. Alright guys, so like I said, we have a PS4 controller and it works great. I recommend if you can afford one, go out and buy one because it's good to use for other things besides this. It's a great controller. I don't own a PS4 and we have one just because it's easy to use and it's a good controller. But if you want to use a different controller with this, you come up to the OpenEmu tab, go to Preferences, and inside of the Preferences menu, down here at the Input section, you can select whatever joypad you have that you plugged in. If it's going to work, it's going to show up in here. You can select it. Then you come here and select your button. that you want to map to your button on your controller, and then you click the corresponding button on your controller, and as long as the drivers and everything are lining up, it should work. If you go to OpenEmu's website, there are a list of supported auto map controllers. So that's really cool. What that means is if you use these controllers with this system, it'll auto map them for you, so you don't have to go through and do what I was showing you how to do. Which that's really neat, and it makes it really convenient for somebody who wants to just play and doesn't want to mess with all the configuration and stuff. And that's generally what we like to do. I know, like I said before, we are, techies, but sometimes you just want to sit down and play. You don't want to mess with all that nonsense. And this is a great solution for that. So, we played PSP. I'm going to jump into some other systems here and kind of see how they work. I downloaded a Virtual Boy game, which is something I've never played before. I know I've heard of it. It was kind of a big flop. Whenever you look back at Nintendo's history, that kind of goes down as one of their bigger failures. But I downloaded a game. Okay, so this is Mario Clash. It's actually not a bad game. It's not really complicated, and there's not a lot to it. But I always heard bad things about the Virtual Boy, but I think a lot of it had to do with the hardware itself, and it gave people headaches. And I mean, you can see it, it's bright red. If you had your face up against that, it'd be terrible. But playing it on this is actually kind of fun. So the point of this is you can jump on these non-horned turtles, I guess is what you'll call them, and then you pick up the shell, and you can use the shell as a projectile to throw. And you just want to clear the level pretty much. And it's a pretty decent little game, and it runs great as expected. It's a Virtual Boy game. So let's see what else we have downloaded. And alright guys, so we're going to try something a little bit more graphically intensive. We're going to do a PlayStation game. So when you're doing these PlayStation games, most of the time when you get them, they come packaged as a bin and a Q file. And all you have to do is take both of those files, bin and Q, and drag them and drop them. You can shift click both of them, or just have them both selected and drop them into the drag and drop games here. You can see down here on Game Scanner, it's scanning them and making sure that you've got all the files you need, and we did. So you also have to get this OpenEmu requires you to have every BIOS for we had to download the one for North America, Japan, and a couple more. But when you drag and drop the game in here the first time and you double click it to launch it, it'll tell you the list of BIOS files you need. We won't link to those just because it's a copyright issue. But they're easy to find. Just Google the name of the BIOS file and you can find it. Once you've done that, it'll launch the game. We're going to go ahead and double click here. One thing I really like about this OpenEmu is after we get in here and we start playing and I close it, it should launch back where we left off. So it does like an auto save state, which is really neat. And so now we're running Crash Team Racing, and it seems to be running pretty good. It takes a minute to load into this game. I don't know if you've ever played it before, but it's got kind of a little bit annoying, to be honest with you, intro. It doesn't let you skip through it till later on, but it tells you who developed it, talks about Sony. It's got a really silly, cheesy voice. But once we get through that, I'll show you a little bit of the gameplay, and that'll probably be all we do for this video. I really do like OpenEmu. It's super simple to set up. It's got a really cool graphical user interface, and it's heads and tails above that last Windows front end we reviewed, which was terrible. So, like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm not really much of a Mac guy. It's more Chris's forte, but I've really enjoyed playing with this thing, and it kind of goes to show that if you broaden your horizons a little bit, you may run into something that you like. And I've never really been that crazy about anything Macintosh. I've always felt like I was drinking the Kool-Aid anytime I touched Chris's computer. But this has been really cool, and it's super easy to set up. Everything runs good on it. So here's we'll just do a quick arcade single race, so we can get in here and see how this thing runs. Of course we're going to be Crash. Ruse Tubes. Sounds a little bit promiscuous. Loading. Loading. Alright, here we go. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this runs great, guys. And I love all these, you know, 90s to early 2000s kart-style racing games. They're great. And, I mean, to be honest with you, a lot of these PlayStation games are good. So, it's going to be pretty cool to be able to run them in this really nice front end. And it's pretty crazy to think about. I remember having a PlayStation, and you know, you used to have to get up and change your discs, and you'd scratch your disc, or your little brother and sister would get a hold of it and F it up, and there you'd be upset. Now you can sit at the comfort of your computer desk and just use your mouse to select whatever game you want to play. I mean, it's crazy how far things have come. But that's all we're really going to touch on with OpenEmu. My final stamp of approval is definitely on this. So check it out. We'll link to OpenEmu in the description. Give it a download if you have a Mac. If not, I'm sorry, you're out of luck. They're not developing this for Windows right now. But definitely give it a shot. It's a really great graphical user interface, and I recommend it. Alright guys, I hope you liked the OpenEmu video. We've got some really cool stuff coming down the pipe. Some computer builds, some more retro gaming, and just a whole lot of cool stuff coming your way. And remember our Nintendo Switch giveaway. And I'm going to offer you guys some more ways to win. If you comment where you shared this video, then that'll give you another entry. And it's not looking like we're going to hit the 1,000 subs by the launch date, but I'm going to go ahead and throw an extension on this thing. If you can get us 1,000 subscribers by the time we finish 2 game reviews on our Nintendo Switch, so that gives you some time, that gives us some time, we'll still give it away. So keep subscribing, keep sharing, you still have a chance, and get us to that 1,000 sub mark so we can keep this channel going strong. Thanks.